If you just now tuning in, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and hit the bell. GMS fam, the green room. Let's talk about it. Hey, yo, GMS fam, the green room. Welcome back to the GMS show. It is Monday. We are back with the regular week, man. Hope everybody had a good weekend. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope your families are doing great. Everybody's in good health, striving to achieve every single last goal that you set for yourself. You know, we start out every show with peace, love, positive energy, good vibes, passing it forward, hoping that you pass it along as well. GMS fam, the green room. If you are tuning in live, there's only a few things I want you to do. First and foremost, hit that like button on the way in. And secondly, tap into the live chat, man. Shout out your city. Where are you tuning in from out in the world? Let me know, man. I want to know where y'all tuning in from. Let me know in the live chat. Weekend was great, man. I want to talk about some things, man. Some things that we didn't necessarily talk about on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. You know, a lot of things went down. But first and foremost, I want to start by sending out positive and healing energy to the legend Jamie Foxx. If you didn't know, Jamie Foxx suffered a medical emergency that some people are saying was a stroke over the weekend. That's right, man. Jamie Foxx suffered a possible stroke. I don't know if it's been fully confirmed or not. They're just calling it a medical complication. But we're here right now. And as far as we know, the news that we're getting right now is that he is making a gradual recovery to exponential recovery. So that means that he is doing better, much better than he was when it happened. So we just want to be able to send out that positive and healing energy to the legend Jamie Foxx, man. I know we kind of touched on it a little bit on 3Gs last Friday. But, you know, some people work a lot, man. Some people stay active. Some people don't really find the time to, you know, rest their bodies. And some people may look healthy as hell. They may look like they're in great health and maybe, you know, glowing and everything like that. And just, and it appears on the outside that they may be doing well, but you never know. You know, if you don't get that rest, man, your body could shut down on you. We've seen it with a few people, you know, a few different individuals out here in the entertainment industry. A lot of people that we know to be people who stay working and stay active and stay out here in these streets doing what they do to try to, you know, make a living in this entertainment space in Hollywood. So That's just one thing to let y'all know, man, because if it can happen to the people who look healthy or seem healthy, it can definitely happen to you. So make sure you take care of yourself, take care of your body, man. And, you know, we sending well wishes and a speedy recovery to Jamie Foxx, man. Just wanted to start out the show with that first and foremost, man. And when we get more information about his recovery and his health status, I will most definitely let y'all know here on the GMS show. Now, let's get to one of the main things that I want to talk about today. The possible Freaknik documentary that is going to be released on Hulu. All right. Now, I know YouTube especially has been trying to stop people from talking about this. They've been, you know, blocking people's YouTubes out and blocking out their live streams. I'm pretty sure they're going to do it to this one. But I didn't care because I wanted to actually talk about this and speak on it. And whoever ends up tuning in, I want y'all to give y'all opinions as well. We don't want these entities to stop us from giving our opinions on certain things and speaking on certain things, especially when I can tell that there is a narrative building. It's funny, like it happens with a lot of things that people are trying to make sure a certain narrative is pushed. A lot of other things, like whatever opposing argument, or if there's anything that has to do with trying to combat what it is, that the narrative that's being told, you can tell that these big entities try to block the opposite narrative out, whether it be during the pandemic, whether it be, you know, certain communities out here, you know, when it came to the shit that was going on with Kanye. It was one of the hottest topics, but they were blocking out people's videos, sending copyright strikes. They were literally cutting people's YouTube lives off from stopping them from talking about certain things that's going on. And I see this type of thing happening, but I'm not the person who sits back and hopes that, oh, I hope I get all these numbers and I hope a bunch of people pull up to the live and I hope this and that. No, I am here to speak on the things that I want to speak about, and I hope that somewhere somebody listens in. Now, with the Freaknik documentary set to drop on Hulu, a lot of questions have been coming up about what type of angle they will push, what type of things that they will be showing. You know, we had the Freaknik auntie out here in her scrubs, nervous about the Freaknik documentary coming out and her possibly being seen. But one of the main things that is being talked about is the predator activities that were taking place during these Freaknik events. Now, this is why I want to talk about this, because we have so many aspects. There's so many things to peel back from this, because it's not just that aspect, not just the sexual aspect or the predator aspect. There's the thing where people need to know the difference between sexual assault and willing participants. See, this is why they try to block certain people out, because if you have this type of logical conversation, they don't like when people think logically. They want people to have the follower mind state. So in other words, when they put out a tweet or when they put out these viral posts to talk about certain things and push the narrative, they want you to believe just that and not ask questions or be objective about certain things that's going on. Yes, it looks bad. And we can all agree that a lot of certain things back then looked bad, but also was a different era. Now, what I mean by people knowing the difference between sexual assault and willing participants, well, there's been so many videos being circulated around from old footage of Freaknik back in the 90s. People are now lumping all of the footage together. There's literal footage of dudes doing predatory shit, literally sexually assaulting women. And then there's the videos of the willing participants going and allowing these men to do this type of thing because they like that type of thing. It's not out of the ordinary for hoes to exist and for freaky niggas to exist. It's not out of the ordinary. This type of thing happens. But when you try to lump an entire group of people, see, that's the fucked up part too. Because like we talked about this kind of last week, when the subject of predator actions amongst an entire group come up, you're putting a cloud, you're putting something over the heads of an entire group of people when you only should be aiming it at a specific demographic. So in other words, let me give you an example. There was a documentary, or there was something that came out about the guy who hosted the Girls Gone Wild documentary. If you don't remember Girls Gone Wild, it was a series of DVDs and tapes that this one white guy, I forgot his name, but he was hosting it. They go around, they just find a bunch of girls to do freaky shit, and that was that. All right. Well, they came out with a documentary about him and how he was being a predator, how he was this and that, and he basically was sexually assaulting women, and a whole bunch of things came out about him. But the difference, because I see people saying, oh, they already did a documentary on Girls Gone Wild. No, they did a documentary on a singular individual. They didn't pay attention to all the other white dudes out there and all the other gentlemen out there who were trying to push up on women, touching women, sexually assaulting women, touching them against their will or without their permission. These are all things that people are pinpointing about the Freaknik documentary, which is well deserved for the people in there doing the extra shit. But at the same time, that also is a testament to how people view us or how people treat us as a whole. Because this one documentary is going to put a magnifying glass, because these are older gentlemen now. These are older guys now. They're not in our generation. They're not in the generations of the 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds. They are the older generation. These are people's grandparents now. Aunties, grandparents, a few moms and dads, a few, just the younger ones, but mostly older generation. These guys don't, it was a different time. I hate to even use that it's not even an excuse. It's just what the times were when there are different times and people say, like when you use certain verbiage, when you use certain words, people used to drop agate all the time. People used to say this and that. People used to make different jokes. People used to say certain things. People used to slap women on the ass. Not to say that it was right, but those were a different time when people weren't actually being more upfront about how they feel about certain things. So we got to a point now where there are different witness accounts. I'm going to show you a couple videos as well, but this is a post on Twitter. It says, it's also supposed to document the fall of Freaknik, which included a lot of sexual assault. I hope your OGs won't be on there either. Here are some firsthand accounts. So basically this person is just saying that this Hulu documentary is not just going to highlight the fun aspects and ain't going to just show ass and titties. It's going to tell you about the downfall of Freaknik and why it stopped for a while. I know there's been some recent ones, but it's been other people putting them together, and it hasn't been done by the same individuals. And of course, it doesn't have the same atmosphere as it once did. Adina Howard's recollection of Freakniks. As the news got around, it got bigger and bigger and bigger. I think a different type of crowd and a different vibe started to take place. It wasn't as fun. It started getting too big, and I think the people that were flocking to Atlanta, it started getting sinister. It started getting too big, and it started getting sinister. Nika Watkins said, at first it was chill. Guys would ask where you're from, what school you went to, etc. It meant a fun weekend party in Atlanta. It eventually changed to a sex fest. It was the weekend guys knew they could get laid. Walking through Lenox Square might cause you to get violated, your ass smacked or boob grabbed. I don't want to say all dudes were like that, but there were some overly aggressive hounds lurking around down there. I heard stories about women being raped, which is usually upsetting to hear about. That's really sad to me that things went that far. That is very extremely sad that things went that far. And there's not one single excuse for it at all. Period. Now, when we talk about these things, like I said, in this different era, I want to say this. The line where it says, I don't want to say all dudes were like that, but there were some overly aggressive hounds. The thing about it is, when you advertise a certain event, it draws in a specific demographic of people. So if I'm holding a Freaknik Fest and the word is getting around that Freaknik is crazy, it's wild. There's a bunch of women out, they get freaky, they get naked, they do this and that. It's only going to draw in some freaky dudes. So of course you're going to have majority, if not most men there doing freaky shit. You can't advertise like that's like if I advertise a Taylor Swift concert, you think it's gonna be filled up with a bunch of freaky ass dudes that's trying to touch on a bunch of women and grind up? No, it's not, because Taylor Swift concerts don't attract those type of people. And what I'm saying about this is, especially because I wanna make sure that we get it right who we're speaking on. Women who are violently taken advantage of, I'm gonna say, instead of saying the harsher word, because I know how YouTube is, when they're violated, there's no excuse for that at all. I also want to say that if you hear about an event that is overly sexually charged and there's countless amounts of freaky shit happening, and you decide to go, there has to be some form of accountability there. I'm not saying that you take responsibility for somebody sexually assaulting you. What I'm saying is, to prevent that, when you have knowledge about what type of environment that it is, you can prevent that by simply not going. I think a lot of people have some people have that thing about them where they feel like they're an exception to the rule, where they feel like they're exempt from anything happening to them because they just don't do that type of shit. I'm not with that. And you expect people, because of however you view yourself as to be, you expect people to respect you in a certain way. It's not like that. The world is not like that. And when you realize that these certain situations that you can put yourself in could possibly cause harm, that's the time when you need to reevaluate how you move. Now, I hope nobody doesn't take that the wrong way. I hope they take it as advice, sound advice at that. Because Freaknik back in the 90s didn't just stop there. There's been countless amounts of events, countless amounts of different things that go on. There's traditional events that happen where certain things may go down and people hear about it, but because they want to be involved in it, because they want to have some type of photo op or put some shit on Instagram, they still go and do it. That's like after the Astro World shit happened with Travis Scott. You would have thought people would have been like, nah, man, I think we need to chill out on raging and trying to turn up so much and be so fucking violent as young teenagers at these festivals. No, they didn't. They continued to put themselves in those environments. And it's not even about telling somebody not to go to a concert. It's simply telling people how to move differently. Oh, I'm walking down Freaknik and I see that there's a crowd of people doing a whole bunch of crazy shit, and I see women getting pulled over here and dudes doing this shit. I'm not gonna walk that way. How about this? I go backwards. Nope, nope, I'm not doing that. Like that's advice for even in the moment. Like, let's say you get there and you don't necessarily know the environment that you're getting yourself into. Once you see what's happening, do not feel like you are an exception to the rule. Do not feel like you are exempt from freaky weirdos. You're not. They're still here. Now, some of these videos that got dropped, let me make sure I take some of these out. Now, when I say the difference between willing participants and people who are being sexually assaulted, this is a woman in the middle of, let me count that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dudes. I see this is a 6 right here because I see his shoes down here. 7 if you count this guy off to the side. and they didn't lift her leg up. She lifted her leg up. You see, she did that herself. All right. Now, once again, let me reiterate. This is not me coming at women who say they have been sexually assaulted or if it actually had happened to them at Freaknik. I'm trying to show you the difference between willing participants and the ones that actually were getting assaulted. This is right here. This is the example of willing participants. They did a lot with that girl. Now, I'm not now. Just because you seductively lick ice cream doesn't mean you necessarily want to get touched on. Okay, let's make that very clear as well. Okay, women can seductively lick on ice cream without you running up and grabbing their ass. All right. I also want to say, on the other end of that, because we do deal with reality, there are some niggas out there who don't think like that. They don't have that mindset. They wouldn't look at a girl and be like, ooh, look how she's seductively eating that ice cream and looking at me in my eyes. Yeah, she want me. There's niggas out there who would think that's a universal sign of, yeah, come fuck with me or come do this, or, oh, that's an open invitation for you to touch them. There are guys who think like that. We're not talking about what's right and what's wrong. We're talking about human activity right now. Stick with me. Human activity. Willing participants versus people who actually were assaulted. I think that's Trina right there, actually, to tell you the truth. That is Trina, I think. There's a woman getting her titties. Look, another woman right there getting her booty grabbed. Another woman right there twerking while another dude let me just say, once again, let me reiterate. If you don't want nobody touching you, move around. Don't keep twerking. Don't keep twerking that ass. As soon as that man touched your butt, you should have stood up and turned around and be like, all right, that's it. No, that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Willing participants. Willing participants. That's all I'm saying. But then you have the other coin. The other side of things. Listen to this.
Freaknik was unwieldy. You know, you couldn't really contain it. You know what I mean? And so once it got to that point where it was infringing on everybody regardless, I mean, that in a lot of ways that made it bigger. You know, that made it more popular. You know, kids were like, man, you gotta make Freaknik. You know, it just became one of those must-attend events.
It got too big. It got dangerous. I mean, it went from what it started was with colleges, and when it got to the hood, it became more and more dangerous. More rape cases, more murders, more robberies, more stuff like that.
Now this is the fucked up shit.
It was like a
now that type of shit where she in the car and y'all niggas opening the car door trying to drag her out. Oh yeah, y'all niggas gotta be put on blast. Every single one of y'all niggas gotta be put on blast. Y'all gotta be called out by your peoples. You gotta get your name put on blast. You got all that. Whatever comes with it. I hope the niggas that was doing shit like this get recognized. Not Uncle Bobby and them that was over there with Charlene over there, and Charlene over there talking about, yeah, pick me up, put my ass in the air. You can't go at Uncle Bobby because he was being freaky in public willingly. He was a willing participant. But them other niggas over there, niggas dragging women out the car, now that's crazy.
Waiting to burst, and it burst.
And when it was starting to fall.
That's crazy. Like this shit right here. Hold on, I can't play the music on this. I don't want to get struck. But look at this. Girls literally trying to get away. Look at that. That. We're talking about that. Niggas coming up with the camera, going up under the skirts without them knowing. My man said leave the 90s and the 90s. That's cool and all. I say leave the 90s and the 90s when people's having fun. But if you see some of the wild shit that was going on back then, it's hard to leave that behind, especially when you start seeing some of the women that you possibly knew, or maybe some of your family members. Now, I agree with that statement to a certain extent. If we're trying to change certain aspects of the culture, I say let's have those conversations. But if people are just trying to ruin something that was great or something that was part of the culture just because they want to ruin it, then I'm not with that. That's the part that I'm not with. I'm not with trying to maintain a toxic level of fuckery in our community. Now, although I feel like this Freaknik documentary, and I'm going to say this, I feel like the Freaknik documentary comes at a time where there's a magnifying glass on black people. And what I mean by that is ever since Elon took over Twitter, which is another crazy part, because I don't know if y'all seen that video of Elon. He was talking to some guy and they were like, yeah, there's been a upcharge in, violent tweets and racist tweets and this and that and negative tweets. And Elon was like, which one? What did you see? If there's an example, tell me one. And it was like a viral video going around like, oh, Elon stumped this guy who didn't have an example of everything. First of all, the first problem was that this guy was white. That was the first problem, is that this guy was white. Secondly, it's very easy for me to come up with the first thing that happened as soon as Elon Musk took over Twitter. I don't know if y'all remember this, but I talked about it months ago on this very show. When Elon, I'm talking about the very day Elon took over Twitter, the word nigger was trending. I shit you not. I swear on everything that I love. The word nigger was trending the very day. Let's start there, Elon. And not only that, but the fact that there's a lot of people out here trying to push the narrative that black people are just going out here being violent towards white people, showing old videos from 5-10 years ago, probably even further than that, of videos of black people beating up white people and saying, look, black people are just going around beating up white people. Like, nigga, that shit happened 10 years ago on World Star. What are you talking about? But because the way that things are set up and the algorithms and the fact that we are the narrative that it's easy to be pushed on, we are the group of people where you can take a negative narrative and push it upon us as a whole without people looking at shit crazy. You know what fucked me up the other day? Let me tell y'all this, man. Let me be real with y'all. What fucked me up the other day? I'm watching Hulu, right? I'm like, watching Hulu shows and shit. Hulu commercials be coming on all the time. They got hella commercials on Hulu, but a commercial they just started to play out of nowhere was a Stop Jewish Hate commercial. And you want to know why I brought up the word nigger trending on Twitter? Because this same commercial had the audacity, the caucasity to bring up how many times the phrase Hitler was right was tweeted on Twitter. They said 70,000 times that phrase was typed on Twitter. 70,000. Can you imagine the number of times the word nigger was typed on Twitter? It's so crazy. Like, these examples keep coming one after another. We keep getting proven right. Within a month of videos surfacing and different stories coming out about Asian people being attacked, what did we get? Stop Asian Hate. What did we get? The Asian crime bills. Within a few months, of Kanye going around doing interviews talking about Jewish people and Kyrie tweeting a link. We got Stop Jewish Hate commercials running on Hulu and telling people how many times people tweeted Hitler was right. When are they going to start taking black people seriously? And I know some people out there are going to be like, oh, they have commercials for black people, the Black Lives Matter shit. Bro, when they have those commercials about us, they're showing the riots. They're showing all types of other shit that'll take away from the actual purpose of what should be done. I said this a few years back when Black Lives Matter started really ramping up in 2020 and things start happening. I said this right here is going to be the movement to spark other movements for other groups. And then once those other movements starts to catch traction, they're going to start looking at Black Lives Matter as a horrible entity. They're going to start shitting on it. They're going to start exposing it for doing foul shit, aka the money that was going into that group and what they were spending it on and how they never did X, Y, and Z for the actual black community, and ultimately bringing Black Lives Matter as an organization to a crumble, and even so much so making the phrase about the organization and not about the actual simple basic human decency of caring about a fucking life. What do we see now today? And because they know that a lot of black people are very passionate and don't take shit from certain shit, they knew that once they exposed the organization for being rats and for being slimy and for being vindictive and not actually trying to help the black community, that even black people will go against the organization. Making any time you talk about the word or the phrase Black Lives Matter, people would immediately think about the organization and not the people. That cannot happen with those other groups. When you hear Stop Asian Hate or Stop Jewish Hate, it doesn't happen with them because people take those groups seriously. I don't know, man. I don't mean to go off the rails, but it's just me seeing things for what it is. I keep seeing the pattern of shit. People have called these things out and it's coming to fruition, and people are just going along with the shit, not calling it out. Fucking Freaknik documentary, man. I don't know what's gonna come from that, but whatever it is, I just hope that my hope is that it doesn't reflect, or people try to make it reflect on all black men. Because we already see the hate that black men get on a daily basis. We already see the target that is on black men's backs every single day, whether it be from, from legal standpoints, from our personal lives, from the internet, from these social media influencers. You know, the ones with the big foreheads and the buck eyes and shit. The ones that niggas really don't want. And that's why they on the internet talking about black men ain't shit and expendable looking ass. We already have odds stacked against us. This Freaknik documentary might set some shit off that we don't need to happen. And it's not me trying to protect predators, or protect the people that did wrong. It's just, it raises the question, why now? Why now? Especially when there has been documentaries put out about Freaknik already. Why now? It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it, but here we are. Now, moving forward from that, I heard ex-NBA star Shawn Kemp has actually now been officially charged for assault in the shooting that took place a month or so ago. If you guys didn't remember, Shawn Kemp was arrested for a shooting that was originally labeled a drive-by shooting, but after video footage caught the shooting and somebody posted it on social media, we saw that he was actually outside standing and walking towards whoever it was he was shooting at and let off a shot, or let off a couple shots. Originally, he was booked, but then he was released because of the lack of evidence, and also because it was put out there that he was acting in self-defense because somebody actually stole some items from him. He was trying to retrieve stolen items. Something happened. An altercation may have ensued, to which he had to take out his firearm and let off shots. Now, it is being reported that he has officially been charged with assault in first degree. Now, they're saying Kemp allegedly fired a handgun in a parking lot of a Tacoma shopping mall. His lawyer, Scott Boatman, tells ESPN that Kemp will enter a plea of not guilty in upcoming arraignment. Kemp says the incident was precipitated with him trying to recover alleged stolen property and that he was acting in self-defense. This is kind of crazy because you let a man first you arrest a man and then you let him go because you were under the impression that he was acting in self-defense. And now here we are a month later where now you're saying that, well, you know what, we're going to charge him with first degree assault. And I think it's because after further review, investigators say that it doesn't look the way that it seems, but you never know. We got to wait for more information to come out. It's unfortunate. You know, everybody was kind of rejoicing after they found out it was in self-defense and he was let go. But now that, you know, these charges have come back up, man, it's going to be an interesting story to see more of what took place, who was involved, what really happened. And just, you know, I still ultimately hope, regardless, that, Shawn Kemp comes out of this on the right side. You know, it'll be very unfortunate if he got charged with this and he was found guilty of it, because it actually upholds a life sentence, if you didn't know. This right here, what he is facing right now, upholds a life sentence. And that would be very, very, very unfortunate for this legend, this veteran, somebody who's very well respected, to have this be the end of his legacy, to go to prison for the rest of his life for, you know, allegedly defending himself. So I hope that this story comes out on the right side of history, man. And we're going to keep rooting for Shawn Kemp, the legend himself, man. Sending, you know, positive energy your way and into your situation. Now, speaking of situations, the NBA playoffs have cracked off over the weekend, man. The teams are now playing for that championship spot. The play-in games have happened. They are done. It is time for playoffs to happen. Shout out to every team that is in the playoffs right now. My Timberwolves are in there. They got their ass beat last night. I can't even talk about. I can't even speak about. We were looking crazy, bro. Looking crazy. I don't know what happened. I feel like that. You know what? Let me not go into that. I don't want to put that much negative energy out there for my Wolves. We just gonna hope they come back stronger and don't finish this by getting swept by the Denver Nuggets. That nigga Jokic is out there. He's trying to ball on us. We need to find a way to stop him. That's all I can say. But the Golden State Warriors are in the playoffs. They were playing Sacramento. And what happened at the Sacramento game that everybody was talking about was the fact that E40, legendary rapper E40, he got kicked out of the arena after having an altercation or a war of words with what he says was a white woman. Watch this. Get your motherfucking hands off me. Now, E40 released a statement saying that he felt like it was some racial bias happening because he got into it with a woman who started the altercation with him. He said the woman went out of her way to say something to him, and he responded. And with his response, it warranted the security to come and take him out the game. As you can see, he is irate. Now, it was very fucked up to see E40 in this fashion because E40 is one of those people that's always cool, calm, collective, always keeping his composure. Just, he does not seem like the person that'll get real hype with people like that. You know what I'm saying? Especially if it's like a sporting event. You know what I'm saying? You can only imagine how many times he's probably had somebody say something to him at the arena, opposing team, or whatever the case may be, and it's never been a situation like this. So you know something had to be said or something had to be done for him to react the way that he did. Now, his statement that he released went along the lines of saying that he was racially, it was some racial bias in the decision. And this is the apparent Karen who was involved in the situation. Let me show y'all. Hold on, let me pause this other video so we don't fuck up. This lady here who is turning around smiling. First of all, I hate that dumb ass mayonnaise smile that they give after doing some shit, getting away with some shit. That white privilege, when that white privilege works, they get so happy. They get so giddy about it. It's like, oh my God, they get off to it. They bust nuts from it. I don't understand. But they got into an altercation or war of words. White privileges. White privileges. White privileges. Look, let me show you what I mean. White privileges. White privileges. She basically turned around and tried to act like nothing happened. Whole time yelling back and forth. Look at this. Here's some of the back and forth. You can see her recording him, talking shit. It's crazy because security is over there trying to get him out of here, and they're over there literally going in, yelling at him, and none of the security's paying attention. They don't give a damn. And some people trying to use the excuse, well, it is Sacramento's arena. Man, fuck all that shit. You don't mistreat somebody just because it's your arena. Now, if they going back and forth, if fans are arguing back and forth, that's just what it is. It's a sporting event. That's what happens. But you know, white tears move mountains. And some people think that phrase means that somebody has to be crying. No, it's in general. White tears move mountains, man. Who knows how that altercation started and how it escalated. Just know that when it all was said and done, she got her way. Now, I want to show y'all what Jalen Rose had to say about this situation, man. Listen to this.
I'm really disappointed in the fact that my brother, E40 Fonzarelli, was ejected from the game. Here's what happened. He was there enjoying the game, sitting on the front row like a tycoon like he always does. A lady a couple of rows behind him was heckling him the entire game. He finally turns around and responds to her heckling him. Security comes over to E40. You can clearly see him put his arm on the security guard's shoulder, whisper in his ear, and let him know that he was being heckled, and he responded. I guess that didn't matter because he was the person that got disciplined and ejected. You see another gentleman come over who works for the Warriors security, who clearly knows E40 because he's front row at every game, and he wants to diffuse the situation, and he kindly walks him off because obviously the players know and love him like the entire league and everybody does, because that's the kind of energy that he's carried. And I'm somebody that knows because I've known him for over 30 years. He don't even move like that. He moves with integrity. And so that's why Andre Iguodala walked off with him. That's why Gary Payton II, someone that he's known since he was a shorty and it's like family to him, was checking on him to try to make sure he was good while the game was going on. And then the Kings, who I'm not claiming are a racist organization, they've been at the forefront of teams as it relates to matters, in particular, social and politically, for black people. So I'm not saying that they're a racist organization. What I am saying is that these security officers in particular totally fumbled this scenario and mishandled it and overreacted. And then the Kings compounded by putting out a statement and basically saying he was standing up excessively. Clearly, I know that there's an etiquette to that. As somebody that played in the league and that frequently goes to games, but they never gave him a warning for that. And so I think they mishandled it all the way around, and I anticipate in 3, 2, 1, the Sacramento.
And look at that. Look at this shit. Instigating white bitch. Take it how you want. I don't give a fuck how you feel. I'm describing exactly what the fuck is going on in this video. That is an instigating white bitch. Already getting kicked out. He already walking to the back, and this is what they do to kick you while you down with that extreme white privilege. You already getting what you want, but look, it's not enough. Look at her still talking shit. Turn around, trying to smile, looking at her other white friends. Yeah, look at me. Look at me.
The Sacramento Kings should be issuing an apology.
Oh my God.
To E40,
Bro.
Earl Stevens, for escorting him from a game and not disciplining the other fan that was heckling him and making him leave a game where he knows how to comport himself. And it was a very exciting game that the Sacramento Kings ended up winning in Game 1 of this year's playoffs.
Shut up and give us the plug to your hairlinesman, motherfucker. Now, like I said, man, it's that type of shit that pisses me off. I mean, what are you gonna do? It's a white world we live in. Jeff says, what up, Jeff? Jeff Brown in the building. He said, I'm glad this happened. I hope this and worse shit happens until we leave these people and start our own damn shit. I hear you on that. Team 642 said, half E40 family live in Sacramento. That was just some racist ass Karen shit. I don't doubt that either. Now, one thing I want to say and real quick highlight, Ralph Yarl, 16-year-old black kid. He was shot multiple times by a grown-ass white man for accidentally ringing the doorbell to the wrong address in an attempt to pick up his siblings. He was shot in the head. And not only was he shot in the head, but he was walked up on after being gunned down and stood over and shot again. There was no arrest that was made. He's fighting for his life currently. And yeah, there was a crowd of people that actually formed around the person who was involved, the man who shot him. There was a crowd of people that formed around his house, protests that erupted. I don't know how or what in their right mind made them think, hey, I should approach this 16-year-old. It's not even about them actually knowing the age, because who would know the age of somebody random that they just met? But you can tell that he's not a grown man. You can tell he's not a grown man. That's for one. Number two, what the fuck happened to make this person decide to start shooting? What happened? And I know a lot of people hate to ask the question what happened because it seems irrelevant in a situation that seems clear cut. But I honestly want to know what made this motherfucker start shooting this kid. I want to hear the excuse. As a matter of fact, we need to hear the excuse so that the masses can hear how dumb motherfuckers sound being terrified of black people as a whole. That's why I want to hear it. This situation should have never happened, man. And I'm hoping that he pulls through. I hope that, you know, he won't have to deal with any type of crazy major changes in his life forever after dealing with this. You know, some people that get, you know, shot in the head and live, you know, they're never the same again. So I just really, really hope and wish that and pray that he, you know, pulls through this. I hope an arrest is made, because I don't see how this person didn't get arrested. I mean, people get arrested for defending themselves. Shawn Kemp. We literally just got done talking about Shawn Kemp. Shawn Kemp was apparently defending himself, and he still got arrested and booked. As a matter of fact, they just came back and gave a nigga charges on assault. So why was there no arrest made from this incident, especially after finding out the situation at hand? That this kid was going to try to pick up his siblings, and he just simply went to the wrong place. That is just sad, man. And I'm praying for this young guy, hoping that he pulls through so he's able to be alive to tell his own story. It's very rare that these things happen, and black men and black women are alive to speak on their situation and what happened. It's very likely. It's a likely situation when somebody is on the other end of the gun and they have the opportunity to spread their own narrative about what happened. You know, even in the George Zimmerman situation, the only narrative that we have is his, and in the phone call where we heard on the other end him saying shit that made him look like the aggressor. So think about this. Think about that shit. You know, that's one thing about the Trayvon Martin situation that bugs the shit out of me, other than the fact that this man killed him. It's the fact that he called the police station to tell them about a suspicious looking person, and then went on to basically say that something needed to be done. And not even that, but having to be instructed not to engage the person and still do so. And then to know the situation afterwards, like, to even people can't even come up with good excuse. Like, they hate black people so much that there's no good excuse for what he did. They just try to find a reason to justify it. That's how sick people are when it comes to black people being killed. When all the information came out, unarmed, not a threat, going to a store that he's been to before, having somebody approach him in an aggressive way and not think somebody's supposed to defend themselves. How many of y'all would see somebody walking towards you aggressively or bothering you for absolutely no reason and think that you just gonna stand there and let them do some shit to you? Trayvon was getting the best of that bitch ass nigga, and he had to take a gun out and shoot him after approaching him and after being told not to. It's very interesting how that is the one part that people don't like to talk about. That simple little detail right there of being instructed by police themselves not to engage this motherfucker, and you still did and took his life. But as this story develops, man, I will be letting y'all know what's going on and what we need to do to continue to push our voices forward. And just to continue to be vigilant in everything that we do, man. I really do give a damn about our people. I'm really at a point now where I know that there's people that we can't bring with us, our own, that we can't bring with us because they're too toxic. They're too stuck in their ways. There's no changing them. There's no bringing them into a better light. There's no having them understand that we work better together than not. There's none of that. And with that, I like to keep people at bay. I like to push people out of the way. But for those that want to come along the journey of being better and continuing to become, better than what we are today, I'm with you. Come with us. Let's do that. I advocate that. I'm not a advocate. I'm not one of those people that is out here trying to, be a voice for the black people. I don't speak for everybody. I just have some common sense and some logic that I like to spread around to those, and I know that y'all have the same thing as well. So if you keep that type of mind state, if you believe in that type of shit, this is the exact place that you want to be every week. So I appreciate every single one of y'all. Once again, GMS fam, the Green Room, I thank y'all for pulling up. Today was a dope show. I'm going to need y'all to hit that like button on the way out. Follow me on my socials. I follow everybody back. Hit the Cash App today. If you are feeling generous, I will most appreciate it. We got another show for you coming Wednesday and Friday, maybe in between. Who knows? We'll see. But as long as y'all continue to pull up and show love, man, I'm going to be right here every week on the GMS show, man. Let me see you comment on this video when the live is over. Hit that comment section, man. Put GMS in the chat, man. I want to shout everybody out. Put GMS in the chat. I want to shout out everybody. I'm shouting out everybody. Everybody who puts a GMS in the chat, I'm shouting you out. Shout out to Mike Blind True. Shout out to King Lukey. Shout out to Wonder Man. Let's go. Please let this be the text I've been waiting for all day. Trying to go smoke out at the Armory. Wiz Khalifa's in town. Yeah, niggas going down. I'm about to go with my crown. I'm a king, I got that frown. Psych, upside down. I'm smiling, I'm happy, I'm nappy. I'm trying to go in and give a couple dappies like, hey, what's up, my nigga? Want a joint? You want to smoke? Take a toke. It ain't no joke. Ain't got that 50, ain't got that toke. Motherfucker don't know. They nigga don't know. Hey, shout out to Glittery Bubbles. Shout out to Monica Salter. Shout out to Team 642. Shout out to Zen Master. Shout out to Jeff Hunt. Shout out to Vale. Shout out to Glow. I see y'all, GMS fam. I'm trying to go to the Wiz Khalifa concert tonight. Hopefully it happens. Shout out to my guy, Dwynell. If it does, it does. If it don't, you know I still love you, brother. I even appreciate you for thinking about me. Little old me. The pothead. Of course you thought about me first, nigga. I'm the nigga that smokes the most in Minnesota. Can't nobody else smoke GMS. Hey, GMS fam, the Green Room. It's been a dope show. Like I said, hit that like button. Follow me on my socials. Hit the Cash App. Hit that like button, all that good shit. You can become a member by hitting the join button below. Let me see y'all in the comment section of the video when the live is over. I want y'all to help out those algorithms. Help us push this GMS show. We just hit 20K subscribers. Thank y'all for supporting the show. Everybody that finds this channel through the videos, through the shorts, through recommendations, through shares, subscriptions, memberships, all that good shit, man. GMS fam, the Green Room, one love. We out.